You're listening to Around Comics. Comics.
You are listening to Around Comics episode 455. It was supposed to be with artist and writer Hilary Barta talking about Fantastic Four annual number 6, but due to the fact that Hilary still lives in 1967 and doesn't have a grasp on technology,
he didn't get our smoke signals.
He did not. We sent a carrier pigeon to get him on the show, and evidently it was shot down over Berlin. I don't know. Yeah,
they thought it was one of them Chinese spy balloons.
Yeah, exactly. We got caught in the Chinese spy balloon. What happened to that? Like we had like a whole week there was nothing but talk about Chinese spy balloons, and then
they got them all.
Oh wait,
look who's. We should let him say howdy anyway.
Well, why not? Hey, we were just making fun of you. What's up, Bill?
So understand that you are live. This is being beamed to the internets. So
I feel like I'm on another planet, though. I don't know.
You are on another planet, Hilary.
You always have been on your own planet.
Yes. Well, Planet Surly. Sorry about tonight, fellas.
That's all right.
Yeah, in case you hadn't realized, I am a Luddite and do not have a phone, so I was not receiving the texts.
We've been sending texts to Hilary all day. I just thought he was busy.
I was busy. I took a walk. I was making dinner. Anyway, sorry to screw up your schedule.
You know what? It just gives we haven't had just a general chit chat in a while, so this will give people some more time to read that 100-page gigantic annual that you picked.
Yeah. Well, it'll give me a chance to actually see it for the first time in 20 or 30 years.
Yeah.
So
nice. Yeah. So if we didn't mention it, when Hill is on in May, we're going to talk in depth about Fantastic Four annual number 6. The birth of Franklin Richards.
The birth. Yeah. It's
Jack Kirby at his most amazing.
I don't want to get into it because obviously we're going to talk about it at some point, but it was, man, what a comic book. Like there is so much going on in this one issue, and I don't know if Kirby was thrilled to be drawing all the things that he had to draw in that, or he was annoyed, but either way, he just murdered it. And it's just like, there's everything in that book. Like there's just anything you could possibly want to draw is in there. And he just knocks it out of the park.
Well, Sal, I don't remember every page, so I don't remember all the stuff that's in there. But if you're talking about the dimension hopping or reality hopping or whatever, Kirby just made all that stuff up on the fly. I mean, you have to know that Stan would script these things, but Jack wrote the stories. And I don't know if he ever wrote them down or if he just wrote them as he drew them on the boards.
Bet you he did, yeah.
But he did everything by the seat of his pants. He had no time to do anything else. How many books was that guy drawing every month? It's incredible what he did. This is like, to me, what Kirby did was sort of like when Robert Crumb dropped acid and came out of it and then drew every character that he was famous for all in a matter of a few months. Kirby was doing that for 15 years, maybe,
for sure.
20. It's just, I
don't know.
But even beyond the dimensions, it's just like the machinery and robots and spaceships, and then there's family moments, and it's just there's so many things going on.
Stuff in the waiting room,
it's pretty amazing, and it's just page after page after page.
This might be Kirby at his peak.
Well, I know people love different periods for different artists, and I don't know how you get any better than this. It's just, the thing about Kirby, I could talk about all kinds of artists that influenced me, but Jack Kirby, I could never figure him out. And yes, I should save all this for the podcast in May, but I just looked at his stuff in awe. And I saw this when I was pretty young, but it wasn't like I saw this and said, oh, I want to draw like that. I was like, how did anyone draw this? You couldn't imagine drawing this. It would be like looking at, I don't know, a skyscraper and saying, oh, I want to build that with my hands now. I couldn't comprehend how someone would do that. It's pure stream of consciousness on paper. He invents, every panel is a new invention.
I also love like the story itself, it just jumps right into it. It's like the first page. Okay, we have to go to another dimension because Sue's got radiation in her blood and she's given birth and we have to save her. It's like there's no fooling around. Bang, bang, bang. We're in another dimension. Like it's
but Sal, he only had 80 pages or something,
He had a lot to fit in. He didn't have time to mess around,
And that's the thing. Kirby's doing this like 80-page annual and probably 2 other books at the same time. Monthly books.
I can't comprehend. I mean, sometimes, when he was coasting, I mean, some of the books that he was doing, it was just action fight scenes, a lot of speed lines. They're exciting, but they're not an epic thing like this. This is just, this is like another world. I keep saying stupid things like that. It's literally other worlds. Yes.
wasn't there a point in his career where he was doing something like 1,000 pages a year?
Oh yeah.
Plus covers.
I don't have numbers like that. I don't carry those around, but I think those figures are at different times. I've seen figures about what he produced.
Yeah.
But he did sometimes 10 pages in a day. I think if a book had to get turned out over a weekend or something, you're not going to ask anybody but Jack Kirby.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but this stuff is not hacked out. It's just, I don't know. I don't even know. Even if he had a year to do that comic, how did he do it in a year? The invention and the.
Good stuff. Well, we will talk in depth about it in May. We'll get a fresh date on the books. I know everyone was excited about wanting to talk to you. Tom will actually be happy because Tom had something come up, and so he wasn't able to be here. And I know that he loves talking with you as well.
Screw Tom! Screw that guy! He just cut out without. Oh yeah, that's
So we'll have you back in May. I hope everything else is going all right, man. It's good to see you.
Everything else is fine. I may or may not be working for the next couple of weeks on a story explaining the cover to Bizarre Sex #1 from 1972. Don't ask me, it's comics.
Gotta love it.
That'd be a great name for a podcast. Don't ask me, it's comics.
There you go.
It's our new segment.
All right. Well, nice to talk with you, if only briefly. Sorry again. And
no problem, bud.
I'll see you in May.
Yes. Yeah, we'll see you sometime in about a month or so.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Hill.
All right.
Take care.
Right, bye.
Well, that was fun. Having Hill on just even briefly is always good. It's been a long time. I can't remember the last time I actually talked with him. It's been a while.
Yeah. So he didn't stand us up. He just doesn't have a phone that gets attached because of course he doesn't. And I should have known better.
Yeah. What the heck were you thinking, Chris? Come on. You gotta know it's Hilary we're dealing with.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah. I didn't get our correspondence in the mail soon enough.
I saw that he was at C2E2 over the weekend. It was over the weekend, and he was at a panel. I think Mr. Suntress was our good friend John Suntress was hosting some sort of panel, Legends of Comics or something like that. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I think Hilary was part of it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Did you make it down for C2E2?
I did not. No, I was thinking about it, but I've just been too busy to try and do that kind of thing. So yeah, I there was a part of me that was like, well, I could just run down on a Saturday or something and just just too much stuff going on right now. But I do have an inkling like to get back to a comic book convention. It's been a
wanna-
couple of years.
Yeah. We should go to in a year. Even though I think they're moving the C2E2 dates around a little bit, trying to get it back where it was.
Back where it belongs.
Yeah, which I think it might actually be this late March now. That might be their home. So yeah, I'd love to get to a con.
Yeah, it'd be fun. So I did think of something to talk about. I went and saw Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves.
Ooh, no spoilers because I think I'm gonna go see it tomorrow.
No spoil. I won't spoil anything. It was fun. It was
What you wanted it to be?
It was. I would say if I had one complaint, it was they were almost a little too precious with it. Like I wanted it to be a little bit more fun in a self-referential sort of way, like almost kind of making fun of themselves a bit.
A little more self-deprecating.
Yeah, and it didn't really do that. I mean, it's funny. There are funny moments. Chris Pine is great, and the cast is really good. And there's like all the sort of Dungeons and Dragons-y things that you could possibly want. And there's some kind of clever, cute nods. Of course, there's all sorts of creatures that you get to see, and there is a little tiny bit of sort of like that self-deprecating, self-referential humor. But I was hoping it would be a little more. So in a way, I don't know. I'm not sure what I was hoping for. Like there was a part of me though that was just sort of like wanting it to take a step into like modern, era in that way. Like, like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
Guardians of the Galaxy sort of made fun of itself as a comic book about these, weirdos and a talking tree, or walking tree and a talking raccoon, and it made fun of that to a certain degree. And that's kind of the vibe I was hoping for a little bit more of. But it was a lot of fun. I did enjoy it. I mean, it's a very it was interesting because like they played it like a campaign. Like you didn't. Whenever there was a moment that something boring would happen, like say they're gonna climb down into a tunnel, and they wouldn't show you climbing down into a tunnel. They would just throw the rope down and then they'd be down there. Like there'd be no like they so it was just sort of that all the boring parts of that you just kind of as a DM
where the DM's like, okay,
you're down. Yeah,
everybody roll a D20. If no one rolls a 0, then
exactly.
you all make it.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm pretty sure that was like designed
intentional.
Intentional.
Yeah.
So that was cool. And it was good. I mean, it was good. I really like the cast. I really like the way that they put sort of the party together. And Chris Pine is just always great. He's just very likable, and he's
probably he might be my favorite Kirk at this point.
Yeah, right. But it was good. I enjoyed it a lot. I mean, as a Dungeons and Dragons fan playing it for, most of my life now, it was really good. And it was a good movie too. Like it was a good, solid, just like fantasy adventure movie. Nice. And nice. Yeah, it was pretty good.
Cool.
Good stuff.
Yeah. I still have to, I want to see that and John Wick. I want to see both of them in the theater. It's just getting to the theater. We kind of finished our chit chat about Last of Us. Did we get through that before we kind of switched up formats here?
I think so. I don't know.
How do you like how it wrapped up?
Yeah, I thought it was good. I mean, that last episode was obviously, pretty thrilling. And as a father, it's like one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, that's exactly what I would do too. I would wade through fucking people and absolutely. This is the one thing that I find like, and we talked about this early on with this show, was I was a little annoyed with the format of like every episode was essentially, we're going to introduce you to someone and they're going to die.
Yeah.
And that played through pretty much the entire season. But the story was so good and so compelling that I was able to kind of overlook that part of it. But what made the game so special is exactly what makes the show so good, is that, it is the beautiful setup of a guy who loses his daughter and then is charged with protecting this girl and doesn't want to do it, doesn't want to fall in love with her, doesn't want to have that responsibility anymore because he feels so guilty, and yet he can't help himself, and eventually he does fall in love with her and treats her like his own daughter, and that last scene really emphasized that. I felt in the way of like, you don't, and spoilers for anyone that hasn't seen it, but you don't want him, it's wrong that he lied to her.
Yeah, but he's not going to put the weight of the world on her shoulders,
because he knows that she would sacrifice herself.
Yeah.
And he's not going to let her do that. And it's like, yeah, the right thing is to be honest with her, and she's going to be pissed when she finds out the truth. And that's going to happen. You know what I mean? In season 2, she's going to find out.
We know what happens.
Yeah. And so, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, it's exactly what I would do if that was my daughter, or, you know what I mean? Like and also, ever since that show's been on the air, I've had no less than 5 people tell me or ask me, "Hey, did people tell you look like Pedro Pascal?" I'm like, personally, I think I'm better looking than him, but
we had chit-chatted a little bit about it on Film Force 5, which, if you haven't already, check out Film Force 5. It's me and Sal and Will talking about favorite movies. But I finally got to see The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Oh, yeah, with Pedro Pascal.
It was so fun. That is just a stupid fun movie. I loved it.
I feel like you've become an even bigger Nicolas Cage fan ever since we did the Nicolas Cage episode on Film Force 5. Like you've kind of like experienced your love of Nicolas Cage.
Oh yeah. I can't wait for Renfeld to come out.
Yeah, that's coming out pretty soon, isn't it?
Yeah. But it's Nick Cage playing Nick Cage, just a funny buddy movie with Pedro Pascal.
Yeah,
it was pretty great. The scene where they drop acid. We're doing this. So I enjoyed that greatly. But
nice.
That and a comic that you had been championing, not that it needed it for a while, was DC's Batman Superman World's Finest.
Oh yeah.
When I checked out through Hoopla, I was looking just for fun superhero comics, and it was on Hoopla and read it, and what a fun comic book.
Yeah, that was the thing about it. Like, there's no pretense to it. It just is what it is. It's a very fun and kind of simple just comic book. Like it's just a superhero comic book. There's not a whole lot of
we need Supergirl and Robin to go back in time to recover a sword. Okay, fine, they do that.
Right. Yeah,
because they can. Yeah, and you get a bunch of the Rogues Gallery from both Bat and Superman Rogues Gallery, and seeing them working together, and it was fun. It was super cool. And Mora, is that the artist on that?
Dan Mora. Yeah,
I want Dan Mora to do a Silver Age Doom Patrol book.
Yeah, he has quickly become one of my favorites in the last couple of years. I think I first took note of him like on Instagram or something, or Twitter, where I started to follow his work a little bit before he really had like gotten big. And I was, I kind of saw him grow, but I really liked his style even back, when I first saw it. Yeah. He's really good. He's excellent.
Yeah. It's a cleaner style, but it still has action and movement to it. And it's a perfect superhero comic book style.
Yeah, for sure.
Love it. So yeah, that was fun. And then I'm continuing to read Once and Future.
Oh, right.
The Karen Gillan, which I think you had picked one of those for a trade talk.
Yeah, I enjoyed that book. I thought it was a fun fun book and looks really good too. I'm always up for some sort of fantasy adventure stories. Are always kind of cool.
Yeah. Speaking of trade talks, in 2 weeks we're going to be doing Midnight Nation. It's the J. Michael Straczynski and Gary Frank.
Yeah, I started reading it. I actually thought we were doing that tonight, and I was like, oh shit, I got to read that. And then you texted me, oh, we're doing the thing with Hilary. I'm like, oh, okay, I got time to read it now.
Yeah. Well, and then next, I guess we can go ahead and announce it now. Next week we're gonna have Tim Seeley on talking about Cherry Pop-Tart number 10.
I don't even know what that is. I have never even heard of Cherry Pop-Tart.
It's porn.
It's porn. Where do I even find that? Fucking Tim.
The internet provides, but
of course he fucking picked some goddamn Cherry.
Well, apparently she is going to have a reappearance in one of Tim's books.
Cherry. So. Oh, I bet the people at Pop Tarts love the fact that there's a porn comic book named Cherry Pop Tart.
It's Cherry Comics 10 or Cherry Pop Tart. So
interesting. Recalled Comics, Cherry Pop Tart number 1, first print, pop star in the stories due to possible threats from litigation from Kellogg, who own the Pop Tart. Yeah, first. Oh wow, I didn't know. Yeah, so looks like Kellogg did sue Cherry Pop Tart. Interesting.
Yeah. Once you read it, you'll know why.
Yeah. It's basically it's a Scooby-Doo or not a Scooby-Doo. What's the
Archie?
It's an Archie porn comic. That's
yes.
Of course, that's what Tim picked.
Because it's Tim would pick.
Of course, what Tim would pick.
So that's next week, and then 2 weeks.
Degenerate fucking comic book goddamn artists.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't wait for Tom to be around for that one.
Right. Thomas. Where is Thomas? Thomas is in Green Bay tonight.
Yeah, he's running around up and down the coast of the third coast of Wisconsin.
The third coast.
So what else have you had going on, man?
Oh, not that much, honestly. Mostly just work, kids, same old. I'm trying to think of anything else that I've been getting into.
Are you watching Picard?
I've started that twice now.
Yeah.
And I'm just not that into it. I don't know.
It's such a nostalgia walk for that. You can tell. It's like, okay, we're going to get the band back together for one more go, because I mean they're getting old. And
that's the thing, like
Gates McFadden looks old.
Yeah. Who still looks good though is 7 of 9.
Oh yeah. Jerry
I was gonna say Falwell, but that's not right.
Jerry
Holloway? Jerry Holloway? No. Different Jerry. I don't know.
A
7 of 9. It's 7 of 9.
Uh-huh.
Whatever. Yeah, she was in it because I was like, oh wow, she's keeping it together.
You're gonna kill me here. Jerry Ryan.
Jerry Ryan. There you go.
Jerry Ryan. She was on. Did you ever watch Leverage?
I don't think I.
With Timothy Hutton and she was.
I was aware of it. I don't think I ever really watched.
She was a reoccurring character on that, and she was always great.
Okay.
Yeah. So she's done other stuff, but yeah, you got to love her for the Star Trek.
I started rereading Once Upon a Time in Hollywood again, the paperback,
which is truly fantastic.
Yeah, I don't know. I just was like, I was getting ready for bed, and I hadn't read anything. I have like 5 books that I'm currently on, and they're mostly like movie history books,
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I didn't feel like picking any of them up. And I have the paperback. It's always been at my nightstand since I bought it and read it the first 2 times. And And there's I have this weird thing with that book. Like, so I bought the paperback, cheap. I have the hardcover as well, but I bought the paperback when it came out. And I'm like, Quentin would want me to not use a bookmark and just fold the shit out of these pages.
Yeah, dog ear the shit out of it. Yeah.
So I have that book is beat. It looks like it's been around for 20 years. It's beat the shit because I've read it 2 times now, going on 3, and I abuse the hell out. And it's almost like I treat it like a leather jacket. The more beat up it gets, the better. Like, I just want it. I'm going to, I've spilled coffee on it and just like bourbon and, blood. I want to get a little
This
blood
book has life in it.
Yeah, exactly. And
I love it.
But so I started reading it again, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to pick it up and read it a little bit before I go to bed. And the next thing I know, I'm like 3 chapters into the thing, and I can't put it down. I'm like, this book is so good. It's so good. It's just, I don't know why I love that story and those characters so much. And
yeah, it's the relationship with, DiCaprio's character and
Jake
and the child actor.
Oh yeah.
That's the one that always kind of sticks with me, because in the book, in the novelization, it's a much bigger part of the story.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing about the book, is that there's a lot of stuff that it goes. I mean, there's things that are completely different. There's scenes that not completely different, but there's scenes that are very different, even though they're in the movie and they're in the book. They're different scenes in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
There's dialogue that's different, but I was fascinated again, because like reading it a third time, I'm looking at it differently. I'm sort of studying it a little bit as I'm reading it, and I'm like, there it really is some genius in there of the way that he everything there's a reason, like, and everything that happens because of what came before it. Like, even down to like the sentences, like every line of dialogue that he writes is based on the line of dialogue or the action that happened right before it. Okay. And one just leads into the next. And it's a simple sort of thing, like, to say that, but it's pretty impressive when you see like how efficient and how into those characters' brains he is, that he knows exactly what they're going to act like or how they're going to behave or what. And he uses it so well, of like every little thing they do is for a reason. It's really impressive. It just blows me away. Now that I've, kind of given up my dreams of writing anything worth a shit, I can just appreciate things.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
That's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, that's cool. No, other than that, I've been keeping up with some Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Are you up with that?
I think I'm caught up with it. I believe so.
Can we all agree that maybe it's time to, kind of slow foot the barrage of cameo appearances?
I will say this: when I saw Jack Black and Lizzo
in
the last episode, I'm like, it kind of feels like they jumped the shark.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, yeah. When are we just gonna like have a good story and not rely on sort of, that sort of thing? I mean, I love Jack Black. I don't know how Lizzo is an actress. I mean, but
she's a better singer.
Yeah, better singer than actress, I think. Jack Black might be a better singer than actress as well.
Very possible. That was, it didn't have to, without them. I think it's a better story.
Well, there's no real reason for them to be in there.
No,
you know what I mean? Like, it could be, it's kind of fun, but it's at that point, it's just sort of like, is that just fan service? And I don't know, but I had the exact same reaction when I saw them. Like,
yeah. It's The Mandalorian felt like such a fresh look at Star Wars when it came out, and I still enjoy it. of course I'm gonna fucking watch it. It's, you know, it's not that big of a commitment. Um, I think for me anyway, it's having trouble feeling like must see TV after Andor, because there's just
Mm.
nothing that's going to keep up with what Andor gave us.
Yeah, Andor was really good. I mean, I think you have to look at them
Separately.
Yeah, I mean, and I like that about Star Wars now, where I don't want it all to be the same. Like
Mhm.
I'm fine with, Mandalorian as a spaghetti western. And then Andor is more of like an espionage, kind of spy thriller. And yeah, I'm okay with I like that.
Yeah.
Like it's a huge gigantic galaxy. You can have all sorts of different stories, and you should. It shouldn't all just feel like the same
Yeah.
fucking story,
Bad Batch was great. Bad Batch just wrapped up their season.
I just can't. I don't know why I just
So
cannot.
good.
I well, I was gonna say I can't get into animation that much, but I will say I have been enjoying, and I haven't finished it yet, but I have been enjoying Agent Elvis. Have you watched that on
No,
Netflix?
no.
It's pretty fun. I mean, I'm an Elvis fan, obviously, but I think even if you're not an Elvis fan, so the show is it's an animated show. It's by the guys who did like Archer, and it's very Archer-esque.
Oh, okay, sure.
And it's Elvis in the 60s, and he is, unbeknownst to him, he's like a sleeper agent for this secret agency that he doesn't and it's
That's
Matthew
funny.
Yeah, it is, and he's got like Johnny Knoxville plays one of his sidekicks, and then his other sidekick is a monkey, a chimpanzee. And there's this woman agent that sort of is his handler.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's like every episode is just him getting into some sort of like you know each episode is kind of standalone, and it's an adventure in itself, but the fun thing is it's all based around, every episode's sort of based around an urban legend. And so it's like Elvis meets the guy who I don't know, did you ever watch The League?
Yes.
The
Yes.
crazy guy with the fucking wild hair. I don't know the actor's name. But
Yeah, he's
funny as shit.
he's in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he's in a lot of stuff, and he's
Was he just
great.
in the History of the World Part 2, I think?
Yeah, he was in that. He was
Yeah.
he's in Big Mouth.
Yeah.
He's great. He's hilarious. I love that guy. He
Oh, he
plays
was in The Good Place. Yeah, he's everywhere.
yeah. Um he's Howard Hughes, and he's
Oh
like
God.
he's like the agency's super scientist. And so he builds like all sorts of stuff for Elvis. And Matthew McConaughey is the voice of Elvis.
Oh my God, that's
And
awesome.
yeah, it's really fun. I mean,
Okay.
even if you're not an Elvis
That's the thing,
fan,
is I think you enjoy uh, uh comedic animated. It's like serious cartoons are not your jam.
yeah, I love Rick and Morty. I love Archer. I
Oh,
loved Venture Brothers was one of my favorite.
I was gonna say
things.
Venture Brothers is one of your favorites.
Yeah, I love anything that is I mean, those guys that do like Archer and Venture Brothers, like I love anything that's sort of retro, but sort of also making fun of retro. And
Mhm.
this is like that too, where it's set in the 60s, but it makes fun of the 60s to some degree, and it makes fun of Elvis to some degree, although not too much. It is interesting because it is produced by Priscilla Presley.
Oh,
Yeah, and
that's cool.
yeah, it is cool, but it's like there's an interesting whenever Elvis is around other women, he's very faithful to Priscilla. So, and it's like, yeah, I don't know if that was necessarily accurate, but whatever, but
Good for her.
but yeah, I don't know. I've been having fun with it, man.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a pretty good, just fun. Yeah, I think you're right. I like funny. I mean, I love comedy so much, and but yeah, I like funny cartoons more than like action serious cartoons. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you're right. That is a good observation. I do like
Yeah.
funny cartoons better than serious ones.
Yeah. But yeah, Bad Batch. Bad Batch was good. I enjoy it. It's it looks like it's gonna be around for a little while. They're telling a good story.
Do you have Apple TV?
I do.
Have you watched Shrinking?
You're like the fifth person to
Dude,
suggest it.
I'll tell you this. It's when I watch it, I watched the first few episodes and I'm like, ah, fuck. I'm like, this show feels so much like a show that I'm gonna fall in love with all these characters and then they're gonna fucking cancel it.
Yeah. That there's
And
no way that they're gonna keep this one going.
yeah, it has like a, I don't know if you ever watched like Weeds,
Yeah.
or it has that kind of,
that kind of, there's a
well,
darkness to
no,
it.
no, not so much. There's a little bit. It's pretty light. Although I will say the season finale had a very dark moment that I was not expecting.
Okay.
But no, it's pretty light. What I meant more is like that, like she lived in that suburban neighborhood and
Mhm.
knew everyone in the neighborhood, and like they had this very tight sort of bond of people that were in, it was an ensemble cast of
Mhm.
neighbors.
Yeah.
And that's what this is like. It's people that work together and are neighbors, and it's a very tight ensemble cast that, like I said, you start to fall in love with the characters,
Okay.
and it's just like, oh fuck, are they going to cancel the show? But it had first season, and it was pretty good. I mean, it was
How's Harrison
funny.
Ford?
He's actually good. He's actually he's not just being Harrison Ford. So he does kind of play Harrison Ford in the sense that he's a grumpy old man, but there's a little more to it than that, at least, because a lot of times I think he kind of mails in at this point a lot of performances.
Sure. He doesn't do much.
No, he doesn't. If he's in it a lot and he's good in it, and it's more than just grumpy Harrison Ford. I mean, he's grumpy, but it's that's kind of the point of that character. Yeah, it's pretty good. I'd definitely check it. I think you'll like it for sure.
Okay, cool.
And then the other one on Apple Plus is season 2 just came out of Schmigadoon.
Oh, it's
Chicago or Schmicago. That's what it
Chicago.
Chicago, yeah. So I haven't watched season 2 yet, but
it looks awesome.
That was one that I'm like, I'm gonna hate this show. Why am I watching this show?
I can't believe you actually watched it.
I loved that show. I thought it was so funny and so well done. I know I should not like that show.
It's got talent.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's really like, I love both Keegan-Michael Key and Leslie Strong. They're so good. They're just, I mean, they're so funny and so good.
Yeah.
I'll watch pretty much anything with Keegan-Michael Key in it. He's so good.
He was in one of the cancellations. What was that? Was it on Apple TV? It's about the he was a writer. Was he a writer? The sitcom. He was an actor. It was the family.
Oh yeah. That was with Johnny Knoxville.
Yeah.
What was that called? I like that show. It was pretty funny.
Did not get renewed.
Oh yeah, that's not surprising. I mean, it was kind of a niche thing, but I think it's hard. I don't know that people give a shit about sitcoms anymore.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, there's a few good ones out there. Speaking of Harrison Ford, which reminds me of Indiana Jones, which reminds me of Uncharted. I just started playing Uncharted 4. I'm a little behind, but that's fun.
I'm trying to remember which one that is. Is that with his brother?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's a good one.
The Thieves End. So kind of that's the end of the Nathan Drake Uncharted.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm just waiting for the next Jedi Fallen Order game to come out.
I haven't played anything in a while. I was playing UFC for a while. I became a double champion. I'm undefeated. I'm like 37-0. I've beaten everyone in 2 weight classes. Yeah, I'm untouchable and then I got bored, so I stopped playing it.
Speaking of UFC, what do you think about the UFC acquisition of WWE?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I don't know.
Weird.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Especially since like,
Is there crossover there?
well, I mean, you've had Brock Lesnar he was a heavyweight UFC champion. You had CM Punk tried to be a UFC fighter and didn't.
Ronda Rousey.
Ronda Rousey, of course, is in the WWE. So I think there is somewhat, but it's such an odd thing because it's like, I mean, I love wrestling, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but we all know wrestling is scripted and it's
Mhm.
not a competition. It's not.
They're not actually trying to beat the hell out of each other.
Yeah. I mean, it's very physical and
It's a show. It's a show.
it's entertaining. But the UFC for the longest time, the draw, I think for a lot of the fans was the fact that this was as close to a real fight as you would get in a sport. Like as much as I love boxing or kickboxing or those kind of things, like the UFC mixed martial art was about as close to an actual fight as a combat sport has gotten. And to now sort of pair with what is a scripted entertainment thing is kind of an interesting, weird. I think there's definitely crossover in the fan base.
Yeah, I think that may be the calculation there is that they can cross promote.
And honestly, the UFC has become a lot more like WWE in the sense that the fighters have realized the more shit talk they do, the more like, promos they cut, the more bullshit, it's become a bit more like wrestling because the fighters realize, oh, if
they're
marketing
themselves,
yeah,
as opposed to trying to win purses.
Well, they're trying to win, but I mean,
creating a brand.
It only works if you win. I mean, that's the thing about any of it. People will love you if you shit talk and back it up.
Yeah.
But if you shit talk and lose, then nobody gives a fuck about you. You know what I mean? So it's like you have to back it up.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's an interesting, weird kind of thing. I did watch WrestleMania last weekend. It was
I haven't watched a WrestleMania in probably 30 years.
Me either, but I didn't realize it's part of Peacock now. So if you if you're a subscription to Peacock, you get the WrestleMania events. So it's like, oh, and like I said, I still like wrestling, and Jack kind of likes it. So we were watching it for a little while. And
if you ever have a chance and you're in Mexico, go to a Lucha Libre.
Lucha Libre, sure.
That was one of the wildest experiences I've had from a sporting event perspective. It was banana pants.
I was just talking to someone. I don't remember who the hell was I talking to. Somebody, and they were they had just gotten back from Tokyo, and I think I don't remember who I was talking to, who it was, and they had went and saw some fights at the Tokyo Dome, which is where they used to hold like a lot of the big Pride championships and that kind of stuff. And there's a couple of things like I definitely have on my bucket list. Like I want to go to Thailand and watch Muay Thai fights in Thailand. That's on my bucket list. And I've seen heavyweight championship fights in Vegas, so that's kind of off my list already. I've done that. Sumo would be awesome. Yeah, I would love to see sumo. Sumo would be cool. I've seen multiple UFCs, so that's but and I've seen boxing, lots of boxing, wrestling. But sumo would be cool. Muay Thai would be awesome, and like kickboxing events or MMA events in Tokyo, in like the Tokyo Dome would be awesome. Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, all that shit.
Goals.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll ever get there, but you never know. Could be someday something some goal to have. See some fights. I like fights. I like people hurting each other.
You're not shocking anyone. All right, man. Well, I think that was for having a little monkey wrench there to begin with.
For being abandoned.
Yeah, it's good just to kind of be able to shoot the shit and catch up on some stuff that we've been enjoying.
I was looking forward to, like last week I did a drawing of Swamp Thing.
Mm-hmm.
I
You doing an old Ben Grimm there?
I was doing a little thing for Fantastic Four, so I'll save it for the episode when we actually I'll finish it then. But there's
Cool.
my little Ben Grimm. I
Nice.
always been a fan of the thing.
Old Blue Eyes.
Old Blue Eyes, Yancey Street boy.
It's
He doesn't smoke cigars anymore in the comic. I don't think they let him anymore.
no, they don't. Yeah, he doesn't do that anymore. But probably like you, and we'll talk about it more in May. We started reading comics in the 1980s mostly, and my Ben Grimm is John Byrne's Ben Grimm. And that's a little bit different character than the Stan Lee it's clobbering time Ben Grimm.
Yeah, I mean, I think he definitely had like the Kirby Stanley Ben, which was a little more. I think it was kind of based on Jack Kirby, to be honest.
Yeah.
Cigar smoking, kind of angry guy all the time. Ben was always kind of angry, and I think Byrne definitely made him a little more fun.
Yeah,
and not give him a
yeah.
little
He was more of a jokester. Speaking of like FF, I don't know if you ever got this thing. I don't know how much it is. It was like a stupid affordable, way underpriced on Amazon. I think you could get this thing for like $30.
Behold the Galactus. Behold Galactus.
Yeah, it's like Kirby sized art, and it's the first.
Nice.
It's the first Galactus stories.
Oh, very good, very good.
Right, but then it also has the John Byrne Galactus stories in the FF. So it's, if you want to see like huge John Byrne art, I don't know if it's available anymore, but it was so underpriced. Yeah, it was, the cover price on this was $50. I think on Amazon it was, that like $35, and it's ginormous.
I don't buy any more books.
Oh God.
I have no more room. I definitely love John Byrne's thing, but I think art wise, like one of my favorites was always Art Adams.
Oh yeah.
Loved his thing, like the way that he just gave him a little more. He looked
more crumbly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I always loved that.
Yeah,
that look. I loved anything Art Adams did. He's fucking amazing. But yeah, his thing always he had a cool way of drawing him crumbly and rocky, and yeah, he looked like sandstone or something. Yeah.
Are we still waiting for the definitive Thing story, the definitive Ben Grimm story?
Oh, I don't know. I think there's been a couple of really good ones. I mean,
This Monster, This Man.
Yeah, but I mean, you go to the mini series. The Thing mini series was excellent. That was John Byrne.
Yeah,
but I think the Pegasus Project is one of my favorite Thing stories mini series. That was Marvel. That was Marvel Team Up. I think
he was Marvel 2. He was Marvel.
Yeah. It was a Marvel 2-in-1. Pegasus Project Pegasus, I think is what it was called. And it was like 4 or 6 issues. You can get the trade. Let's see. Yeah, Project Pegasus. It was Byrne, and Perez as well. And it's Marvel 2-in-1, 42 and 43, 53 through 58, and Avengers 236 through 237.
I may have found, if I can get that on Hoopla, what
probably is. Yeah.
Okay, so it's Project Pegasus.
Yeah, Thing Project Pegasus. There's a collection.
Oh yeah,
and I remember that. I haven't read it in a while, but there's like Hercules is in it, Thundra is in it, Deathlock, Doctor Strange, Captain America.
This might be a good trade talk.
Yeah, I would love to. I haven't read it in a long time. I would absolutely. Maybe I'll pick that for my next one. Yeah, because I think that's one of the better Ben Grimm stories, because it's him on his own. And yeah, he's the security chief He's hired as the security chief of Project Pegasus, which is like, I don't remember. I can't remember it all,
Okay.
but yeah, he's and yeah, it's a good story. I mean, well, I don't, like I said, I haven't read it in probably, I don't know, maybe 20 years, but I remember loving that story, and I think that's one of the best.
Nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get that from Hoopla tonight. But yeah, it's steeping in the FF here.
I think Valkyrie's in it, if I remember.
Oh, nice.
It
Nice.
might have been what led to the Defenders.
Oh, okay. Well, he was not a defender. Hulk was.
Yeah, but
Was
I want to
has
say
he has Thing been in one of those super groups that?
Well, the Fantastic Four.
But one of the B-list super groups. You know what I'm at? It's like
Yeah.
like the Champions.
Wasn't he part of the West Coast Avengers at one point? Or
Everyone has been an Avenger at some point. Who was in the Champions? That was Ghost Rider, right?
That might have been Ben. Fuck, man. Now you're going way back.
Yeah, because Defenders was Hulk. Champions. I want to say like Ghost Rider was in the Champions.
The original, let's see, Champions
Moon
Volume
Knight?
1. That sounds right, but I can't. Let's see, 2016, 2000 Champions.
It's gonna be like-
British, no. Champions 1975.
yeah, it's gonna be like
Hercules,
75.
Hercules, Black Widow, Iceman, Ghost Rider, and the Angel. It looks like Angel.
An Angel. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
This is one I think that came out of the new X-Men kind of, it's like, well, they didn't really have any place for Iceman and Angel anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they got kicked out. Sorry, we don't need you anymore. We got Wolverine.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's see.
Yeah, that was just such an oddball collection of characters.
Yeah,
those are some fun stories, man. I think Don Glut may have written some of those.
Probably. He probably wrote, yeah.
Because he was doing what was the series that he did a bunch of? It wasn't
Ben Grimm. Benjamin Jacob Grimm.
It was maybe a Marvel Team Up. Some of those.
Ben Grimm was in the Fantastic Four, the Avengers, the Future Foundation, the West Coast Avengers, the Thunder Riders, the Yancey Street Gang, of course, the New Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy, and the Worthy. Whoever that was. I don't know who the Worthy was.
When was he in Guardians of the Galaxy?
I think that was later on, maybe. But yeah, I always liked him in the 2-in-1 stuff. That was one of my favorite comics back then, was Ben 2-in-1s, because he wasn't with the Fantastic Four and he'd get teamed up with somebody, and it'd always be trouble. Spider-Man a lot of times,
well, it was Marvel Team Up with Spider-Man and Marvel 2-in-1.
Or 2-in-1,
yeah. So it's did they ever, I'll have to see if there was ever like a thing Spider-Man.
Oh, I'm pretty sure
Marvel Team Up, Marvel 2-in-1 crossover.
Right. I don't know.
Those Marvel Team Ups, it was so smart at that time, because it was so transparent looking back on it, that it was just their way to introduce new characters or build up sales numbers. You
have a popular character, you put it with, it's like anything else. Sure.
Yeah, but that's the first time I think I ever read a Captain Britain story. Was the original Captain Britain costume.
So so here is the list of characters from Marvel 2-in-1s. There was 50 issues in the first volume. So we had starting in issue number 1 was Man-Thing. Then we had Submariner, Daredevil, Captain America, Guardians of the Galaxy, Doctor Strange, Valkyrie, Ghost Rider, Thor, Black Widow, Gollum, Iron Man, Power Man, Son of Satan, Morbius the Living Vampire, Kazar, Spider-Man was issue 17.
Okay.
Scarecrow, Tigra, the Liberty Legion, Doc Savage, Thor again, Black Goliath, Iron Fist, Nick Fury, Deathlock, Submariner again, Shang-Chi, Spider-Woman, Mystery Menace. Who the fuck is Mystery Menace? Oh, it was Alicia Masters. Invisible Girl, Modred the Mystic, Nighthawk, Skull the Slayer, Mr. Fantastic, Matt Murdock, Daredevil. Wait, Murdock and then Daredevil.
Well, it's probably
Yeah,
it was a law story. It was a courtroom issue
Ben got sentenced to
for smashing a car.
Right. Vision, Black Panther, Brother Voodoo, Captain America, Man Thing, Hercules, Captain Marvel, Hulk, Yancey Street Gang, Jack of Hearts, Doctor Strange, and The Thing. Oh, there was actually 100 issues. So that was the first 50.
Wow. Yeah.
He had a bunch of, and then let's see, Quasar, Thundra, Impossible Man, Starhawk, Hyperion. I kind of remember that issue.
Wow, they were doing with Nighthawk and Hyperion.
Yeah.
So they're doing the Squadron Supreme.
Yeah.
At the time.
Puppet Master. He teamed up with Puppet Master. Blue Diamond. I don't even remember that character.
What was the, we're doing Midnight Nation. What was the other Straczynski series that was kind of based on Squadron Supreme? Because he kind of relaunched that.
Yeah. Shit. I can see it. I can see the characters.
Yeah. It was great. It was dark. It was really fucking dark.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it even had like spin-off series.
Yeah, they had their own separate. What was it called? Shit. I can't remember what it was called, but I remember it. Yeah. Straczynski, man, he was kicking some ass there for a few years.
He was the guy.
Yeah. Hey, Michael Straczynski. What's he doing these days?
I think he's still doing some. I think he's doing some comic work.
Is he? I don't know. Yeah.
Hopefully living on all that the Babylon 5
money. I'm sure he's got plenty of cash.
It wasn't Rising Stars. That was also really good.
I loved Rising Stars. I went on a mission. I collected like all the different zero and half issues and variants. I think I still have it all. I love that book.
Yeah, Supreme Power.
Yes.
It's so here, speaking of, and while we're talking about Straczynski and trade talks and whatnot, so I've got all of my Midnight Nation individuals.
I don't think I have mine anymore.
It was so fun. It reminded me why I love reading individual issues of old comics is because you get lost in the ads. The ads are so good, but it's like, so here's the standard cover. This is the kind of comic book collector I used to be. Here's the black and white.
Oh, wow.
Issue.
Exciting.
So the whole issue's in black and white. So it's spooky.
Very rare.
Here's the Defiant variant number 1.
Guy with a bicep and a gun. That's all you need.
Yep.
That's all you need to be a hero.
And so this marks the time on this comic, maybe more than anything. I also have the Wizard half issue.
Oh, wow. With the gold foil hologram Wizard logo there in the corner.
Yep.
Look at that.
Yep.
What's your most like fanboy ever, alternative cover kind of purchase? What's like the can you think of anything in specific look bad that you just laugh at now? I mean, I bought I don't know how many issues of like Spawn 1 I had. I don't know how I had I had 5 copies of The Death of Superman in the bag.
There's some Rising Stars variant covers that I think I went a little nutty on. For a while. I was never a variant cover hound until like the completist would facet of me would come into play. Not really anything in that regard. I mean, I've bought a lot of stupid collectibles that I shouldn't have.
Yeah, I was just wondering. I'm sure there were some embarrassing purchases that I did. That I paid way too much money for. I can't think of anything like. I know I had like Todd McFarlane's Spider-Man run. I think I had like triples or quadruples of the first 12 issues or something.
Oh wow.
And then I had, or when Ghost Rider was relaunched with Danny Craich or whatever his name was,
Yeah, Danny Ketch.
I was such a Ghost Rider fan. I think I had like doubles of the first 20 issues of that comic, and I thought it was going to be huge, and it wasn't. But
not even Nick Cage could save Ghost Rider.
I was a huge Ghost Rider fan, but I was a huge Midnight Suns, like that whole storyline, the Midnight Suns. Remember all that stuff? I had.
Was that with like Son of Satan and
yeah, you had all sorts. I mean, there were any demonic character,
Brother Voodoo.
Yeah, they were all involved in it, and I was way into that. I remember. I'm trying to think of anything else. Like, yeah, I don't know. The Rising Stars definitely. I definitely they got me on that one. Like
that was peak variant cover. You chase yeah.
What was the remember the Valiant Blood? What was the guy? The Blood
Sport?
No, was it Bloodsport? Not Bloodsport. The fuck was his name? The
Hank
dude,
Seeley.
the white guy. Yeah, Seeley
wrote him.
Yeah. What the fuck was it? But I remember there was like there was a bunch of issues of Valiant stuff that I bought multiple copies of Valiant shits.
X-Men number 1.
X-Men number 1 was that? Yeah.
I had every individual cover and then the fold out, which is what each of the covers.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
I think I probably had at least 2 or 3 of each one of those.
I did too.
Yeah,
I did too. I remember the
X-Force, of course.
Remember the glow in the dark Hulk cover?
No.
Oh, there was a glow in the dark Hulk cover. It was just like black and then him in like green. I think it was maybe McFarlane era. And it was glow in the dark. And I probably had 10 of those. I don't know. I definitely was I had a collector mentality at one point. I think they just absolutely
that's what they hammered at.
Yeah, they just abused their fan base like that. Mean, they it was like crack. I mean, they just fucking.
Well, it was the speculator boom. I mean, it was still kind of pulling, those tricks that never really went away, even, up through the early 2000s.
Still, I think.
Yeah, this book is 20 years old, man.
What is?
Midnight Nation?
Oh my God, that's.
Yeah, I think it's like 2003.
Oof. Jesus.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's aged pretty well. So I look forward to talking with you about it. But it is absolutely of an era.
Oh, for sure.
It screams millennium.
I remember here's the Hulk cover. Wow, it's worth like $40 on eBay.
Really?
Here, I'll show you. This isn't the best picture of it, but it's on eBay.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like green and black, and maybe it wasn't even glow. I don't even know if it glue in the dark. I think it was just sort of neon. Yeah,
interesting. Is that the Peter David run?
377, probably. I mean,
chances are, right? Hey, do me a favor. Look what Fantastic Four Annual number 6 is going for.
Let's see. $350.
Okay.
For a number 6 fine, very fine. You can get this is a facsimile edition for $10.50. You can get one that's not slabbed for $100. So
okay.
You can get a shitty one for $9.99. There's a crappy copy of it.
Yeah. I was just wondering because it is kind of a landmark issue.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, 200, 100. Yeah, if it's slabbed, it's going to be pretty pricey, but
Yeah.
it looks like you can get one for maybe $60 or $100 for sure.
Yeah, I wonder when a mint one goes. What is that? Ooh,
9.8, $71,000
or best offer.
or best offer. Yeah. Hey, it's on sale. It's 10% off.
It's $1 billion.
So it's a 9.8 off white to white pages and $71,000 for a book you can't read.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
Oh, yeah. Somebody will fucking pay for it. I don't know. Won't be me, but
9.8. That's pretty fucking high.
yeah, I'm sure for that book it's pretty fucking rare.
Yeah.
That a 9.8 exists. It's near mint and it's, from 1968. Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's probably sold for that already. You know what I mean? Like that shit is only going to go up, I think. I don't know. Yeah.
It's crazy. All right, man. Well, I think we did okay. Just catching up, going over some silly shit. What do we got coming up? Film Force 5.
Tomorrow we have the worst sequels ever made will be out, and then after that we'll have the best sequels, and then I think we're gonna do, what were we doing after that? I can't remember what we're doing next week.
Schwarzenegger and best remakes.
Oh, right. Best remakes and Schwarzenegger. So I gotta figure out what I'm picking for.
And some of those could be on the same episode.
What do you mean? Schwarzenegger remakes?
Yeah.
What would, I'm trying to think.
Like Total Recall, but that's not going to make the list because it wasn't very good.
Yeah, I was gonna say that wasn't a great. Definitely. I'm trying to think of was there any Schwarzenegger movies that have been remade that have been better? I don't think
they haven't done The Running Man.
I love The Running Man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Conan.
Yeah, that sucked. Yeah, that wasn't good.
Yeah. Can't improve on Arnold.
He was Conan, man. Like he was so perfect for that.
Save it because we're going to talk about it. Because it's probably going to be one of my picks, man. I love that movie.
It's a great one.
That movie's fantastic.
Great movie.
Yeah. James Earl Jones.
Yeah. Thulsa Doom.
Yep. That's good shit. So anyway, check out Film Force 5, and you can hear us and our good buddy Will talking about movies. And hit up the Patreon if you can be so kind. It's patreon.com/aroundcomics. We'll be back next week with Tim Seeley talking about Cherry Comics number 10 or Cherry Pop Tart number 10. We'll have to see how much art Sal wants to flash up on the stream. It might get us red flagged, so it'll be an interesting conversation. It's always great to have Tim on the show. Tom should be back next week as well. He's just been what do they say, busier than a something
a whore in Washington.
There good,
a whore at the NBA finals.
So Tom will be back in the meantime.
In between time.
We'll be everywhere in
and around comics.
Don't text.